Alright, one last time. So yeah, as I was saying, third of the quests are fine, take it or leave it. Third of the quests are fantastic. And then a third of the quests, they're just bad. The fishing minigame was not, clearly not my thing. Farming is tedious even if your Xbox clock works correctly. In fact, it's even kind of worse because you are meant to actually wait multiple days to farm instead of just having to take a few minutes to check. And specifically having certain side quests locked behind a mechanic that the game never explains, which is that you can crossbreed your moonflower seeds, feels wild to me. That feels weird. So, yeah, there's a good amount of side content in this game that I think could have been done better, and that really started to get on my nerves. Thank you very much.
Well then, seems the way is open.
I think overall main plot, I remember the first time I found out about the big shade twist blew my mind, and the idea of a second playthrough letting you understand them I thought was really, really cool, and I love that. I think there's a lot. I think the majority of the main storyline I think is excellently done. It's just handled fantastically and in a really interesting way, and brings up a lot of interesting moral thoughts and points of discussion. Facade is such a fantastic world building thing that's turned into one of my favorite video game locations ever, just in terms of yeah, this is a cool town. Looks cool, little annoying to navigate, but looks very cool. Villagers have a really interesting gimmick, multiple interesting gimmicks, because they're the masked people, and then they also have the rules thing. There's multiple distinctive NPCs in it that are wonderful and cool. Everything about Facade firing on all cylinders. Love it. Seafront sucks because that's where they introduces fishing, and that's where the fisherman lives. So that's my thoughts on Seafront. And yeah, the main characters I think are really cool. I love the dynamic between NieR and Weiss for so much of the first act. I think Kaine is a great character. Emil's a fantastic character. All of their chemistry is really, really good. I don't think they have romantic chemistry, so the fact that he leaned in for a kiss there at the end felt really weird, but aside from that, it works really well. Devola and Popola do have really cool vibes. I just really wish I knew what was going on with them. I'm curious if the remaster adds any content there. Because, yeah, I really don't get why, if their ultimate goal was to stop me from killing the Shadowlord, why Popola was so willing to help me track down the Shadowlord, and she couldn't just say, sorry, I couldn't find anything for you. I really don't understand the motivation there. So that's one bit of the game that I feel like I remember getting more explanation, and then I just was wrong. I misremembered. There's not really anything more to it. So that's a little bit of a bummer. And then in terms of mechanics, the dialogue functions. It's very straightforward. In case you haven't noticed, the magic powers are cool. The Dark Lance is clearly the most practical, and I've barely used Ululaf. It feels like a Lovecraft villain. Clearly I've stuck with Lance, but the magic system is very fun to play around with a little bit. But yeah, no, especially coming off coming off the boots of? That's not the phrase, is it? What the fuck am I trying to say? Coming off the tail of? I don't know. Coming off of Bayonetta 3, it's a little bit weird to have combat where it's like, yep, I press the XXX and the not even the YYY, just the XXX over and over and over again. I mean, I guess that's how a lot of other games are. Like Zelda, you pretty much only press X. But Zelda has a lot of other. It's got items. It's got bow and arrow. Zelda's combat system has more going on than this does. So, but like that's another reference point of like technically the swing the sword button is just X. But yeah, I guess just in terms of combat, it's you either press XXX over again or you shoot some dark lances out, and that's all there is to the combat. So, you know, I think they could go further with it, and again, they hired Platinum Games to take care of the sequel, so I bet combat's going to be way more engaging in that one, so that's exciting. But yeah, combat was a little bit straightforward, and in a game this long, it starts to get a little bit boring after a while. But the storyline makes up for it. Voice acting is great all along. There's a couple of lines in the final scene with Devola and Popola that I think I wish voice director had directed a little bit differently. I think it comes off as a little bit awkward sounding. But our main cast of again, Jameson Price, Liam O'Brien, Laura Bailey, and whoever voices Emil. I'm sad I don't know their name. These four just do a fantastic job all around.
Kaine, hurry! It's not open yet.
And our major selling point of this game, pretty honestly, I think this my again, I had seen a playthrough of this and I was like, yeah, I pretty much get it. I don't remember a ton, but like I get a lot of the overarching story beats.
Got it.
Part of me was like, I might just skip to Automata. Maybe I don't need to play the original NieR. And a really big part of what convinced me to end up giving the original shot was just like, I want to hear Liam and Laura more. I remember that they did a really good job, and that was before I watched Critical Role, so now I'm a bigger fan of them than I was when I watched it the first time. I was like, yeah, I want to experience that firsthand. And yeah, it was worth it. I really, really like this game. I think it's definitely, there's a few points where it's, I don't even know if unpolished is the right word, but there's a few places where I think it could be cleaned up. But, like, yeah, on the whole, this game's fantastic. It's great. And I think it's not a controversial take. I would hope.
It seems to...
Wait a second.
No waiting. We gotta rush through this. We might go over 4 hours today, and I don't want to go too much further than that. Not that I'm in a rush to finish this very good game, but also, you know, this is in terms of the endings. I don't know if Automata is going to be this tedious. It is a lot of work to get all 4 endings. I'm putting in a lot of time here. To make sure I have all the content this game can offer, which, you know, goes to show that it's like a juicy game that's got a lot, but also the nature of having multiple endings and making the player play through them a lot of times is a lot of stuff gets repetitive. This last go through was, you know, I tried to give respect to some of the more emotional, weighty scenes, but it's like, yeah, a lot of those cutscenes, it's like, alright, yeah, waiting to get through it. Waiting to get to the next one, because I've already seen this, and I'm not getting any new content.
Come on! Keep going! Move it!
So, like, yeah, playthrough 3 definitely feels, I can barely even say it drags, because we got through it so quickly, but it feels very much like, alright,
this way! Move!
the emotional impact is losing me on account of, I just saw a ton of these cutscenes. Like less than a week ago, and nothing is being added to them. But also, you know, I wouldn't say it's cheating, but you spend a lot less time emotionally processing each ending if you go through them one by one in a 15-minute span. So I understand the artistic vision of, yeah, you have to play through the game again to get the next ending. I understand why Yoko Taro wanted it to be like that, but also that makes elements of it tedious. We're doing the same shit again over and over.
Damn it,
Glad
I
you guys
can't get it
actually
open.
spawned where you're supposed to for this scene.
Oh, you pissed her off now! Maybe you shouldn't have killed her friends. Look at her. So full of hate.
Curious how he was supposed to take Tyran, because he seemed like he didn't want to go berserk.
Hate is just another crutch for you.
He seems to start regretting things at the end, but like he still sounds real smarmy when he's like, "Hey, NieR, you want to do something cool? You want to kill Kaine?" It's the framing of Tyran is interesting, and I'm not sure how I'm supposed to read him.
How did you get here? You are correct.
But yeah, those are most of my thoughts. This game's great. Not perfect. Almost no game is. Really like it, and it's. I'm hyped for Automata. From what I understand, Automata is mostly unrelated, unconnected. That almost makes me even more excited to see what connections I can find, because I know they're going to be subtle and I need to be on the lookout for them. Or at least that's how I interpret that, of, yeah, the story is separate. So, yeah, I'm excited. The world building that has gone into this world is very impressive and very cool, and I am ready to explore more of it. Another recovery potion. I honestly want medicinal herbs more than anything, but again, if you're offering. Thanks, Emil. Ooh, also the added dramatic irony, I didn't bring this up last time, but added dramatic irony of when Kaine says, Emil's not here anymore, so I can't hold myself back. You can't get to Ending C until you already know, oh, actually, Emil did survive, he's just not around. So there's an added kind of tragic irony to her giving up hope because she thinks Emil is gone. Alright. Let's kill Devola because Popola is willing to let her twin sister be on the line. No!
All of it. Nope.
It is something I do really like is that an implication throughout the game is because Weiss can't remember, that's why he's willing to change sides and help. And I do really like, I'm just going to check to make sure, yeah, it's still just the same 4. Yeah. The original's effect, yeah, he's the original, I'm pretty sure is the, that's the main gimmick. What was I saying? Oh, Weiss, yes. There's kind of an implication throughout the game of Weiss can't remember why he's here, and that's why he's willing to just go along with the protagonist and save Yonah. And I love that here he gets his memories back, and I kind of wish they actually spent more time on it. Weiss never backs down. He never changes his mind. He's just like, oh, I remember now. I know all the context for why I am who I am and who you people are and how the world is. And he's still, without question, like, oh yeah, I still want to go help Yonah. She got kidnapped. She doesn't deserve that. And I think it's really cool. The fact that Weiss really did become ride or die. It wasn't just the happenstance of he forgot, and then as soon as he remembers, he reverts back to the way he's supposed to be. He's like, No, I may finally be remembering information I'd forgotten, but I still developed as a character. That doesn't go away just because I know the truth. It's cool. Alright, kill Shadowlord. Yeah, I don't know why, but part of my brain was like, yeah, at the end, we have the chance to, like, Soul Crusher. Oh, it's gonna, yeah, we did it. We did it so fast. I'm so smart and cool, guys. I feel like what the fuck was I saying? I think I was still talking about Weiss, but I think I got most of my points across. His lessons of trusting others and being part of a team, being part of a family, and growing to love and care for the protagonist does not go away just because his amnesia goes away. Whereas, like, I feel like they absolutely could kind of have that implication if they wanted to of, oh no, now you have to fight Weiss because he remembers and it turns out he was working for the bad guys all along. That's not even, like, brought up as a possibility. Weiss just stays ride or die. I love that. Technically, it's slightly brought up at the end of Act 1, I guess, but... And at that point, it is kind of implied, oh, he's willing to stick around because he doesn't really remember. So, yeah, I guess kind of him getting the memories back here is a response to maybe he's only working with us because he doesn't remember anything. It's like, no, he still is his own person and his own character, and that is informing his choices, whether or not he remembers everything he's supposed to. I think it's cool. Weiss is cool. But yeah, definitely thought... I think I might have actually gotten into this thought, and that's when I actually forgot what I was talking about. Man, book burner? What's even the limit on that? 1.5 minutes? Did I not do that last time? I could have sworn I took care of him pretty fast.
Be careful.
You too.
Hey, Sunshine. There's something kind of in your heart.
Yeah, I don't know. I remembered the ending being so emotionally impactful, and I didn't remember that it was only to save Kaine. I could have sworn that part of it was like, yeah, you get to save a lot of the people who in the other endings died. Nope, Weiss still fades away. Shadowlord still dies. Gestalt Yonah still dies. None of that seems to change at all, based on the ending. But alas. Come on, I really need to get an achievement.
You want me to understand your sadness? You think I'm gonna sympathize with you? I swore to protect my daughter and my friends. If someone puts them in danger, they must stand aside or be cut down.
Oh, that got him. Hell yeah. I might get this achievement after all. I'm curious if that timer is affected by cutscenes, because... I definitely defeated the book really quickly last time, too.
I have something to defend. I have a reason to live.
Not you, you idiot! Oh, I didn't even mean to take that one, but I've got enough resources to make it work, I think. Hey, the once and final king. That's a cool title. Defeat the shade inside you. He wasn't really inside me. That's kind of important to the plot, that at no point is he inside of us, and he actually wishes that were not the case. But
I'm gonna
okay.
swallow you up, Sunshine. I'm gonna...
Kaine, what is it?
You good? What's going on?
Me soon.
I can't
I'm
hold
gonna
it
go
back
guts
anymore.
berserk.
Just shut up.
This one we'll let play out because we've only seen it once instead of 3 times.
Emil is gone, all right? So there's no way anyone can stop me.
that feels like it would lead to a poignant and maybe slightly unsatisfying ending. See, it looks like those swords are swords are wings, but no, they're just swords. Alright, is there anything I can or should do here? Nope.
Well, hell, sunshine! It's not like I can.
Yeah, Yonah, you should take... I don't know where you went, but I'm glad you're taking cover. Why is there just a pile of barrels and tires? What was the Shadowlord up to? What is this? Is this like a jungle gym for Yonah? That just got cleaned up? Why is he here? Oh, that was another thing I wanted to talk about. It adds to like the medieval fantasy, slightly magical vibe of it all. But like the Lost Shrine is an island, and we go to the very top of it, and then we go through a tunnel, and maybe the tunnel just goes back underground for a while, and then shit. Maybe the tunnel goes back underground for a while, and it's a really long process to get to the Shadowlord's castle. But like, unless that's not the case, if that's not the case, those are the two phrases that I got mixed up for a second there. Makes no physical sense how we got to like a bunch of these modern day office buildings that are nowhere in sight of the horizon at the top of the Lost Shrine.
Well, there might be one way to save her.
Who said that?
It don't matter, so don't ask. Just shut up and listen.
Wait, are you...
I said listen! There's a way to save Kaine's life, alright? But you're gonna have to make a difference.
I keep pressing the magic button. Weiss is dead.
I'll do whatever it takes.
When the time comes, I'm going to pin Kaine down.
Again, it doesn't seem like you actually put a lot of effort into that. It feels like it's mostly me.
To stab her in the heart.
No, I can't.
Fine. Don't believe me. Stand around with your thumb up your ass and watch her die a terrible...
If I get a cool achievement, but it waits until after the cutscene to give it to me, it's gonna feel really out of place.
There are two ways to do it. One is to plunge your sword into her chest. That's what she wants after all. Freedom from burdens. Freedom from life.
What's the other way?
The other way is to make her a normal human being again. But to make that happen, you gotta trade your own existence for hers. Well, there you go. Good luck with that.
You're the shade inside Kaine. Why are you trying to help her?
Probably for the same reason you are. Enough talk. Make your choice.
All right. I want to make sure I'm still recording and everything's working well, because this is an important choice we're about to make. What should I do? Sacrifice our own existence to make Kaine human again.
You will disappear from this world. Your daughter, your friends, everyone in your life will forget you.
Yeah, it's not just you die, it's you erase your existence.
Whoever existed will be erased. And in exchange, Kaine will return to her mortal life.
If you choose this option, all of your save data will be erased. Are you sure about this? Remember what I was saying before of it's hard to make the player feel like they're making the same sacrifice that their noble character might? This is a damn good way to do it. And there's a reason we saved this ending for last. And I'll say it just right now. This is why I am baffled there's an ending E in the remake, or re-release, remaster, whatever it's called. No idea how to handle that. Because, to my understanding, this is not a joke. This is not a bit. We are erasing our existence. But I am sure about this. Even if you elect against it this time, you can always return to this selection by clearing the game again. Are you still sure about this? Yes. All NieR save data on the same gamer profile will be erased, so you can only choose this option once. Are you really sure about this? How the fuck is there an ending E? Yes. This is your last chance to change your mind. Are you really, really sure about this? Yes. The correct name was entered. I love that it even like tests you. It makes you put in, yeah, go ahead, erase yourself. But put in the effort. Don't half-ass it. Tell me what you are willing to do. All save files will be erased. Map's gone. That's the most tragic part of all this, honestly. All the items gone. It even, like, goes into the quest thing to be like, here's the list of quests that you worked so hard to complete. All gone. All your weapons, gone. All your words, gone. All of your memos. Oh, fishing records, you can fucking take them. I don't fucking care. We're gonna go one by one? That's the least of my concerns. Tutorial's gone. That was a positive thing. Documents, all those love letters, gone. Not our love letters, but still sad. All of our words, gone. All of our experience and leveling, gone. All those keys, gone. And this is why, before you even select the load game thing, the game checks your save files. A little thing pops up, says checking save files, and then the menu pops up, and then you check the load save button, and it checks the files again. The first time it is checking to see, hey, are there any names that no longer exist in this world? That's why it has to check twice.
Are you all right?
Yonah.
Are you the one who helped me? Oh, thank you.
I'm glad you're okay.
What's wrong? I mean, you defeated the Shadowlord and everything, but you don't look happy.
I don't?
Oh, a lunar tear. How pretty. Are you crying?
Yeah. I guess I am. It's like I just found something special. Something very special.
And that is the end of NieR. That's a really, like, I knew that was coming, and I still felt like, as they both started to look out the window, I still felt like morally and like from a heartfelt standpoint, it's very nice that like Kaine finally gets to be free from pain and live a life where there are people who love her, and like we did save her. We successfully saved her, and she's going to be okay, and she deserves that because she's been through so much. But like there was still a part of me that I don't know, this feels really cheesy, especially because I knew all this was coming, but there's a small part of it that felt like, yeah, I gave something to the game and it's gone now. Like that the fact that it really goes through every last detail on the menu and saying all of it's gone. It is gone forever. It hits home really well. Like that's such a good way of using game mechanics to make the player feel something. It's very it feels very Undertale-esque in a way of really messing with like save file names and stuff like that in a really interesting way. But yeah, the game says like, oh, are you willing to make this big noble choice? Yeah, of course I am. And the game goes, no, not the character. Are you willing to make a sacrifice? And yeah, you got to give it all up. And it's all erased. And this ain't some Animal Crossing. I think Mr. Rossetti in Animal Crossing would sometimes threaten to delete your save, and the truth was that could never happen. It was never going to do that. That's real. That save data is gone. That is the reason why I made sure I double-checked like twice that I was recording, because I don't get a second take of that. That data is gone. And I think that's a really good way of making sure the player is committing to this and is willing to sacrifice something. I think that's incredible. Those were the two main things I remember about this game, was the shade twist, which I think is a really, really cool story element, and the very last ending, which is something that video games very rarely do, which is asking the player directly to sacrifice something in order to represent a sacrifice that the character is making. And I just think that's great. I think that's super artistic and really cool and really fits with the idea of, yeah, NieR is willing to give that up in order to give Kaine a second chance at life. I think that's wonderful. I think that's great. It's also just so much more heart-wrenching. That's not just you guys. It's not only does Kaine remember him, Yonah doesn't remember him. Yonah does not remember her father anymore. And the only kind of keepsake they have is the flower falls out of Kaine's hair, and she picks it up, and she feels something special about it, that it represents something. And the whole game, Lunar Tears, represented this hope of one day becoming better. This hope that eventually things will be okay, and we might be able to feel better and live lives free from pain and free from conflict. And I don't know, I don't even think this game really breaks those cycles of violence necessarily, I kept thinking about, because we still destroy Shadowlord in the end. Again, I was kind of surprised. I didn't remember a lot of the details. I kind of expected a chance of like making peace with Shadowlord. But in the end, I brought up way earlier the question of like, okay, there's a lot of hard decisions in terms of how do we improve as a society? How do we move past these things we're caught up in so often? And there are no easy answers. Sometimes the hard answer is you have to make a sacrifice. You have to give up very important things in order for other people to move forward. And the right thing to do, even though it is a hard thing to do, and this game does one of the best ways of making the player feel like they have to make an important sacrifice rather than just the character. But the right, noble, honorable thing to do is make sure if someone has to make a sacrifice, the honorable thing to do is, obviously, depending on context, this will not always something very special. This will not always be relevant, but in times when it is relevant, the honorable thing to do is you have to make a sacrifice, because if you don't, someone else will. So system data saved in that it has saved over the fact my file is gone forever. Oh, now it's still erasing. Now the operation is complete. Thanks for playing. But there's one special thing that we do get to remember. To drive the point home, that name is gone forever. Again, I had a lot of time to talk about my wrap-up thoughts. I don't have a lot to add. There's a very good reason why there were only 2 or 3 major things I remember. The 3 major things I remembered are vocal performances were great, shade twist, both of those fantastic, and the last ending being such an effective way of actually having the player make a sacrifice. I've never seen any other game accomplish that specific feeling like this one has. And I even knew the lunar tier in the main screen was coming, and that still got me. That's what that 15-second silence was me holding back tears. This game is not perfect. There's bits of it that I found really annoying and tedious. There are certain aspects of this game that, in my own experience, I have never seen any other game do. And this last thing is, I think, the most notable example of that. And that is why I love this game. And I can't wait to see more. Automata's coming soon. But for now, Kaine and Yonah get to live on happily, but maybe a little melancholy because it feels like there's something missing, even though there's no way they can ever know what. Have a safe trip home, everybody.